We're Karen and Bo Christensen, a Danish-American couple who met in Germany in 2016. Bo is an airline pilot, and Karen is a freelance advertising creative director. In late 2022, we bought Château de La Tuilerie in Martel, France, and are working to make it a bed and breakfast and wedding destination fit for a queen. Welcome to Queen's Escape. In the heart of Martel stands the Eglise Saint-Maur de Martel, or the Church of St. Maur in Martel. The church is dedicated to the patron saint of charcoal burners and coppersmiths. St. Maur was a disciple of St. Benedict, and the church was built between the 14th and 16th centuries. Construction of the existing Gothic church stands on the ruins of an earlier Romanesque church, as evidenced by several remains from the Romanesque period. The first mentions of the existing church date from the beginning of the 13th century, but the construction supposedly began in 1301 by the local people who hired the services of architects and master craftsmen of all trades. Everyone pitched in, including the children. Special taxes, donations of money, real estate, and annuities helped to finance the work. From the month of July 1310 to March 1311, talks took place between the consuls of the city and the bishop concerning the construction of the church. The city archives provide insight to the early construction of the church, namely that it had to be finished quickly. For example, on January 23, 1345, the project manager of the church undertook to complete the main chapel in only 5 months. It is likely that what was to become the 100 Years' War led the consuls to speed up the work. So the 100 Years' War was beginning, and so the people wanted to hurry up and get the work done. The taking of Bergerac on August 24, 1345 by Henry of Lancaster, Count of Derby, led the consuls of Martel to devote themselves to the defense of the city and put the church work on hold. There are very few records of possible church construction going on during the 100 Years' War, but in 1480, the St. Maur Church is said to be ruined by the wear and tear of time and reduced to the appearance of a barn. Repair work is noted in 1493 to 1494, and in 1502 the restoration work was still not completed. The Bishop of Cahors, Antoine de Luzech, addressed several archpriests to help the community of Martel to restore their church. In 1507, the cost of reconstruction exceeded £12,000. As a result, on March 28, 1509, the rector of the church was condemned by arrest of Bordeaux to continue to repair and build the church. So basically, they spent so much money in 1507, £12,000, that they were told, if you spend one more nickel on this church, you are going to be arrested. In 1510, one of the chapels was repaired. In 1511, the price for making the stained glass windows decorated with scenes of the Passion was established by master glassmaker Redon. June 16, 1518, an agreement was made with the painter Jehan Becquin concerning the vaults of the chapels, as well as the walls and the pillars supporting them. If you walk into the church today, you can see it's beautifully and brightly painted. An archaeological study shows that the church is largely the result of a reconstruction of the last years of the 15th century and the first quarter of the 16th century. At the beginning of the 16th century, it was decided to rebuild the bell tower. As a result of the building over different periods in history, the building was listed as a historical monument on July 26, 1906. It is described as a fortified church with a Romanesque tympanum from the 12th century, 14th century nave, and a 16th century bell tower. There's a massive and solid aspect to the building. The porch, which protects the entrance, is impressive in its size and stature. At the entrance is a remarkable tympanum which dates from the primitive church, dating from the second half of the 12th century. The Romanesque tympanum depicts the beginning of the Passion of Judgment Day. The Passion, or Parousia, is the moment at the end times when Christ will return to judge the living and the dead. Pierced hands are open wide. 2 angels blow the trumpet as other angels wear the insignia of the Passion: nails, spear, and crown of thorns. At the bottom, we see the tombs opening to free the dead who resuscitate. The whole thing was previously painted and colorful. We can discern the influence of the new ogival style of northern France. The iconography and style place Martel's tympanum in the time period when Southwest Romanesque art met early Gothic art. The face of Christ had been redone in plaster at the end of the 19th century. There was only a damaged right half left until a new head was completely reconstructed. The sculptures of the tympanum have resisted time remarkably well, thanks in particular to the tower porch, which has protected it well from bad weather. It is also in this sense that this work, which is more than 800 years old, deserves particular attention by the quality of its composition and the finesse of its execution. Aside from the tympanum, the Saint-Maur church, meanwhile, was built between the 14th and 16th centuries. Once the tympanum is crossed, the Gothic central nave opens and a distribution of 4 dedicated chapels on the left and on the right appear, very colorful and renovated. At the back of the altar, you can admire the central 16th century canopy, which by itself is a real expression of the Passion of Christ. Its bell tower, which dates from the beginning of the 16th century, is simply immense and dominates the city, which makes it by far the tallest of the 7 towers of Martel. Part of the city's defensive system, the church is a fortress. The bell tower is a real defense tower. The apse is surmounted by watchtowers, and its bay is defended by a gatehouse. The back of the church to the east is integrated into the old surrounding wall which protected the city. In the 16th century, this protection was reinforced by the construction of the bell tower. The 48-meter-high bell tower was of strategic importance to the town's defenses and doubled as a watchtower. A price was decided in 1511 with a master glassmaker named Redon. We don't know a lot about him, but that he was trained at the school of the famous Arnaud de Mol, to whom we owe the stained glass windows of other cathedrals. It has been 500 years since the windows were made, and they survive today, despite the wars of religion, the revolution, and the ravages of time, not to mention stones thrown by urchins. It's extraordinary, even though a restoration was made in 1860 by a master from Toulouse. We know this because there's a record of this work of art that was done at the very bottom on the inscription in the form of a ribbon, that it was done in a workshop in Toulouse known as Louis Victor. You can read a full description about the stunning windows detailing the last weeks of Christ's life in a YouTube video made by a local college in Martel. There's so much to discover inside the Church of Martel. We haven't even yet scratched the surface, but it's definitely worth a visit, just 5 minutes from Queen's Escape. Open the windows when the air is cool, and then just to let it cool off the rooms. And then there comes a point in the morning when it's not cool outside anymore, and especially today, you know, it's quick to become warm. So here we are. Yeah, even on the front. It's not quite all sun coming in up here yet, but it's already more hot than cool. Oh, golly. So we make it cave time. I already got some curtains shut over there, but we just, for people to come in to the chateau, you don't want them to be greeted with a bunch of heat, so we kind of make it a little bit of a cave situation in here, just to keep the cool air in once the day gets going. And it's not super cool in here, honestly, not at the moment. So for the first time, I have 2 bookings on my paper calendar this week that I can't find anywhere digitally, you know, like on our website of bookings and on Airbnb or on booking.com. I don't see it. I don't even see it canceled. That's really strange. That's really, really strange, because we haven't made that mistake once. It's been accurate all the way through. So these 2 bookings are a little bit of a mystery. It's for the same room. It's for Himiko. I'm making bread as if someone's coming today. So I guess I'll just see if someone shows up. If they don't, honestly, it's probably for the best tonight, because it's so hot. I mean, it's 103 degrees today. It is so hot. But if they do show up, you know, it will cool down tonight, and tomorrow's gonna be a lot cooler. Well, it's 80 tomorrow, but it's a lot cooler than 103, so that's good. But I wouldn't be devastated if they didn't show up today. Now, the one later in the week, that would be sad if they didn't come, because it'll be much nicer. Yeah. Mystery. Now, I'm not saying it's the case. I'm just saying it's possible that my calendar system for keeping track of bookings, it may not be the clearest. So I got this new calendar. And what is great about this new calendar is that there's 5 or 6 lines on each day, and I can dedicate each line to a room. So maybe I'll show you. So in this chaos, you know, I was just marking the rooms. Oh, Margrethe is booked this night for 1 night, you know, until this day. Okay, Eleanor is booked 2 nights. You know, Cleopatra is booked 2 nights. Margrethe is booked 1 night. But every time I didn't put them on the same line. So I have Cleopatra here, I have Margrethe here. That is fine when it looks like this for bookings. But it's not fine exactly when we start getting into the busier months. So here, I'm gonna do, okay, for example, this first line could be Cleopatra, this line could be Eleanor, this line could be Catherine, this line could be Margrethe, this line could be Himiko. And then I know across every time that line is only for that room. And so instead of writing Himiko here, you know, because I know it's the Himiko line, I can write the name of the guest. So the Jones, they're staying here for a day. You know, the Francois, they're staying here for 4 days. And instead of just marking a line across in a pen, I'm going to have different colors for how long each guest is staying. I already have this in my computer system. I mean, I have a calendar on my website, I have a calendar on Booking, I have a calendar on Airbnb, but I love to see it on the wall, and I can't explain it, but I'm very visual, and I just need to be able to look and go, okay, these people are staying, these people are going, I have to clean these rooms, you know, I have to somehow have it in front of my face. So that's what I'll do. So here's how my new calendar is working out, and it's working out nice, I'll tell you, because I just got a new booking for October. If I can get the thing to come up here. All right, so I got a new booking for October. And so here's my little system of how I'm organizing the calendar now. So I have the different rooms for the different lines and the different colors, and then I can write the guest's name in. And we have Bonnie Houghton coming on October 6th and 7th, and she's from the US, and she told me that she's a YouTube viewer, so I'm so excited to welcome Bonnie and her +1 in October, and I got to use my calendar again. So cool. So it's working out. It looks, you know, it's now of course it's not busy, but I think it will really help us in the summer season next year. Yay! So Isabella and I are going tonight for her last night to one of my favorite restaurants in town called Le Petit Moulin. And that means, I think, the little mussel. Anyway, we're going to take you along with us and show you a bit about what a typical French menu looks like in our town. So here it is, Le Petit Moulin. Isn't it cute?
So you will find in our card our classical menu, which is 35 euros with the starter, the plate and the dessert. So tonight we propose you a plate of the day. So the plate of the day can be inserted in the full menu as the main dish. And tonight it will be some veal. In French it's a noix de veau, so maybe in English it's a nut of veal. It's a pretty noble part. And it will be with a courgette salad.
Okay.
Courgette or zucchini? Yeah?
Zucchini, yeah, good job.
Okay, thank you. And after that it will be with a walnut cream. And this plate, if you take it alone, it will be 19 euros and half. But you can also take it in the menu. Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Super.
After that we have also a starter of the moment, a starter of the day. Tonight it will be a foie gras. It will be a foie gras mi-cuit. So it will be 3 generous slices of foie gras with some ratafia jelly. It's a kind of liquor, a wine liquor, and it will be a jelly with this to pair with the foie gras. This starter is mainly for 2 people, and it's 27 euros for the starter, which is for 2 people.
Okay.
That's it. And for the fish it will be some merlu, but I will check the translate because I don't know how to say merlu in English. So I'm coming back. I let you have a look.
All right, thank you. Okay. And do you have a wine list as well?
Yeah, I bring you the wine list. Yeah,
super,
sure.
Thank you. So, like a lot of the restaurants that offer a menu, they offer you basically a full meal for a flat price. So their flat price is 35 euros, and with that you get a choice of appetizers, a choice of entree, and then a choice of dessert. Sometimes they'll also have a cheese course in there, but I see that Le Petit Moulin isn't really doing that anymore. And if you don't like that, you can also choose a la carte, so from their entrees and the appetizers and the plates. So here, entrees, it means the appetizers, in fact. And then I think here, these are entrees or appetizers to share. And then these are the plates they have, and then they have the desserts. And then they have like a menu for children, you know, where they can choose a drink and then an entree and a dessert. Or this is a lunchtime one, it looks like, lunchtime menu. Yeah. So on their dinner menu tonight, they have pork in corn with garlic, red fruits, and honey nuts, honey and walnuts. They have anchovies. They have here, I think it's veal, local veal, with eggplant, black olives, citron confit, and then ginger honey. And they have the fish of the moment, which he told us was hake. And then for dessert, they've got, it looks to me like possibly a raspberry sort of biscuit with basil, or a white chocolate dessert with black walnut and cream, or an apricot creme something. So pretty good choices for us for the evening. What are you thinking?
I think I want some meat and lamb.
She's having lamb.
I might just take from the
entrees.
a la carte.
Yeah. Okay. So here comes our wine.
So, Domaine du Banneret, 2018, so 2018 vintage. I think it's one of the better Châteauneuf-du-Pape that I could taste since a long time, because in the Châteauneuf-du-Pape area there is also Emmanuel Reynaud, which is the owner of the Chateau Rayas. Maybe you already know it, but it's a really famous and the most popular, and maybe we say that it's the most wonderful wine in the Châteauneuf-du-Pape. But Domaine du Banneret, since few years, it's really incredible, and definitely another style, more floral, because he put some Muscat grape variety and also some Clairette grape variety. And so it's really floral, and we have really nice notes. I hope you like it.
I read about Châteauneuf-du-Pape and just read that, you know, it was the Italian Pope who moved to France and lived here and started growing wine, and that it actually turned out to be really good.
Okay.
From a long time ago, and that now it's still good today. So that's all I know about it. So
about the Domaine du Banneret?
No, Châteauneuf-du-Pape, about the chateau itself.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, Châteauneuf-du-Pape is really a nice appellation, and there are some wonderful things in different styles. It's I make you taste it?
You don't have to make me.
Maybe it's cold, but I hope it's not.
No, it's very good.
Yeah?
Thank you.
You want some wine also?
Yeah, we're in this together. Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
So the thing about the Petit Moulin is that they have a walnut oil theme. So you can see here, it's a walnut oil press on their glasses. And that's the name of the walnut oil company, I suppose it is, or the place where they do it. And then they offer it with their bread. So since we ordered a la carte, we had the option to order the carpaccio, which is very beautiful. All right, so I had the plat du jour, which is the veal salad, and then Isabella had, I think it was the lamb with aubergine or eggplant puree, but they both look just fantastic. It's not pretty anymore because it was too good, but we got the mini cheese plate and it is really tasty. We've got some goat cheese over here, and then some mild cheeses, and then some blue. Delicious. So in the third stage of dinner, I have got the apricot dessert, which I have no idea what this big thing is. There's a little apricot, and then this is an apricot thing on a Brittany biscuit with honey, I think. And then Isabella has gotten the framboise dessert, which is the raspberry dessert. So I see little raspberry kind of cookies, and perhaps a pistachio cream, maybe. We'll see. It looks really good.
the reason for anything.
So all these kids every year, they love to touch the spikes on this door. It's a pretty, pretty street. So we're leaving Le Petit Moulin, and it was good. It was really good. We always recommend this place to all our guests when they ask. And the wine. And the wine was really good. Château Neuf du Pape, which is the new chateau of the Pope. And I think I told you about that earlier, but I wrote about that in one of my French books. But we love Le Petit Moulin, and we love downtown Martel. It was a really good dinner. So I had a lady call me yesterday to just confirm her reservation for today. And she was speaking to me in French. She was speaking very, very fast. And usually I can pick up enough to know what people are asking and to be able to answer them. But she was blah, 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 you know, a room tomorrow, reservation. And I kind of got that she wanted to confirm it. And so I asked her, okay. I just let her know that I speak English and if she could just speak a little slower. And then she spoke to me more in French, you know, blah, 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 blah. And I was guessing, you know, what she wanted. And I said, okay, you're calling to confirm your reservation for tomorrow and to see what time you can come, you know. And then she started speaking to me in perfect English. And then she said, I thought this was a French hotel. And I said, well, it was a French bed and breakfast, but I speak English and you speak English. I said, so, you know, basically confirmed for her, yes, she could come tomorrow at 4. And then she said, well, can I come earlier? And I said, well, yes, if you'd like to come earlier, maybe we can arrange that. And then she was speaking to me in French again, blah, 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 blah. And then she says, and I said, okay, well, if you want to come earlier, just let me know when. And she's like, no, 4 is fine. And I was like, okay. So we hang up the phone, and I just have a bad taste in my mouth, like kind of the rest of the night. You know, and even today I was just thinking, just something doesn't feel right about this, you know, like maybe she's just kind of someone who wants to complain. And so she was just latching on to my not speaking French or understanding her perfectly as something to complain about. And so I was a little nervous about her coming today because I had to take Isabella, Beau's daughter, to the airport in Bordeaux today, and that's 2.5 hours away. So that's 2.5 hours both ways, and we had guests, and the guests that we had needed to check out by 10 o'clock, and they were late checking out. And you know, I had reminded them it's 10 o'clock, and they said, well, what about 11? And I was like, it's 10 o'clock. You know? And they said, okay, we'll leave in 30 minutes. And I said, no, I need you to leave at 10 o'clock. And I'm sorry for that, but I need to go somewhere. And they said, okay, we will. And then of course they left at like 10:20. And so Isabella and I, anyway, we had a mad dash to Bordeaux to get her there and then to get back. And I was just trying to get here by 4 o'clock so I could be here before this lady arrived, just so she would not have anything to complain about. And sure enough, I am 5 minutes away, and she calls me, and she's leaves a message. I didn't see it right away, and she says, we're waiting for you. She's early, you know. And you know, it was, I think I was 20 minutes, it was 20 minutes before 4, you know, when she called and told me, we're here waiting for you. So I get here, and she's kind of standing here with her hands on her hips and with her little son, you know, teenage son, I guess I should say. And so I greeted her, hello, how are you, bonjour, all of that. And invited them in and got them settled and everything. And I'm telling you, it wasn't 5 minutes before she came downstairs, angry because it was hot. I mean, it's in the 90s this week. We don't have air conditioning, but it's in the 90s in a lot of places all over France. And she's just like, I cannot live like this. I cannot sleep like this. And how am I supposed to, you know, it's just way too hot. It's too hot. And I said, yes, it's hot. It's a hot day. It's going to be a hot week. And no, we don't have air conditioning, because she wanted to know if we have air conditioning. And do we have a fan? And no, we don't have a fan. And I asked her where she's from, and she's from Chartres, which is not terribly far from here. Not far enough that she doesn't have the exact same weather there. Okay, and she's mad at me because it's hot outside. And so I realized at that moment, okay, this is somebody who just wants to complain. So I was very, very firm with her. And I said, no, we don't have a fan. We don't have air conditioning. It's on our website. It's very clear. You know it was going to be hot this week. It is going to be hot here. And you know, I told her, open your window at night, let the cool air in. It will be fine for you in the evening. And then I started suggesting some places that she could go right now during the day in the area to cool off. You know, the shopping where she could go, where they would have air conditioning, and the river, the Dordogne River that's nearby here, where they could go and sit under umbrellas, or they could get in the water, which is very cold, and how they have nice cold drinks that they can refresh with, or that they can go to the Gouffre de Parac, which is the underground cave, and it's really cold down there. So I named her a whole bunch of places, and then a water park that's at a nearby area where she could go and cool off. And like, as I was like talking to her and being very firm with her, it's like the look in the eyes changed. And it was almost like she got what she wanted in a way. Like she just wanted to complain and be set straight. You know, it was really odd behavior. And then it was, okay, what's for breakfast? Which actually, I'm really glad that she asked, because now it won't be a surprise. There won't be any complaining. So I named off every single item exactly. So she knows what's coming. But I guarantee you, in the morning, she will ask me for cheese. I guarantee you. She will look at the plate, the table, everything that's there, and she will say, do you have some cheese? It happens all the time, but it's always the same kind of people. It's like they just want more. Anyway, it's going to be an interesting few days, but her son is very nice, and you ever get the feeling you can read somebody's face, and he sort of had this look on his face when I was smiling and being kind to them and helping them despite the whining, that he was just grateful, you know, that it wasn't going to be an argument. So we'll keep it in check for him at least. So the lady who was here the other day, and she was really struggling with the heat and hadn't really given it to me. You know, when she left the other morning, she said to me, she said, thank you so much, you know, for the stay and everything you do, and I will be back. And that just really touched me, you know? I mean, here she was on the phone with me, giving me hell because I didn't speak French, you know, on the phone. And then when she got here, she was so upset that it was hot. And yeah, so she just kind of came around. You know, she had a really good breakfast the second day, and then I think they just had a good time seeing the sights in the area, her and her son was a delight, absolute delightful teenager. And they had a good evening, and you know, I did my best for them. But then, you know, the next morning they had a great breakfast, and she sat out on the terrace and she just sort of took in the cool weather of the morning. And then when she left, she was really happy. You know, after all of this back and forth with this lady guest who was unhappy and then really happy and then telling me she would come again and, you know, making me feel good, then she left me a nasty review on Google. I mean, why? Why be nice to me and then do that? Anyway. Yeah, I guess that's just how it's going to be with some people. So a lot of you told me about this car cooler you can get, like an electronic cooling box that you can get for the car to like plug into the cigarette lighter to lighter, and it cools your, it sort of keeps your cool box or your, how do you even call it, a cooler, cold. So when we go to Brive to get bread, dough, we can keep it cold all the way home. And they had it at the grocery store. So super excited to give that a try. So you see it goes right into your cigarette lighter. All right, cooler in the back, Karen in the front. I'm at Metro, and this whole room is a refrigerator. And it is so wonderful to walk around on this 100-degree weather day. Feels cold. Let's see here. Yeah. Those are still in pieces. That's good. And those are still in pieces. All right, and it's cold in there. I put these in there before we left just to help. But yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. Great, it works.